Once upon a time, there was a peaceful night. Millions of stars were silently shining in the dark sky. The cold desert air seemed to be eager to say something, but nothing happened. The night passed in silence. Under the open sky, Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, a prophet, a father, a guide, was lying alone outside his tent. His eyes were closed. Then suddenly a dream came and changed his whole life. He saw in his dream that he was sacrificing his son, Prophet Ismail, peace be upon him, in the way of Allah. When he woke up, his forehead was covered with sweat and his heart was beating fast. For a moment he thought, was this just a dream? But the next night he had the same dream again, and the third night too. Now he understood this was no ordinary dream. This was Allah's command, a great test. Several days later, Prophet Abraham called his son. There was a storm in his heart, but gentleness on his face. Son, I had a dream that I was sacrificing you in the way of Allah. What do you think? The son looked into his father's eyes. He saw no sign of fear, no worry in them, only submission, only consent. Father, do whatever you are commanded. God willing, you will find me among the patient. Tears began to flow from the father's eyes, but he knew this is the path of love, where faith goes beyond emotions. A few days later, that day came. In the first light of the morning, Hazrat Ibrahim and Hazrat Ismail set off silently, knife in hand, faith in heart, and the name of Allah with them. On the way, Satan came 3 times. Sometimes he whispered in the father's heart, sometimes he tried to seduce his son. But each time, Ibrahim chased the devil away by throwing pebbles. This has become our sunnah of shooting today. Finally, they reached the place where the hour of testing had arrived. Hazrat Ibrahim laid his son on the ground. He tied a bandage over his eyes so that emotions would not come in the way. Took a knife in his hand and threw it in the name of Allah, but the knife did not move. At that moment, a voice came from the sky. "O Abraham, you have made the dream come true. This is how we reward the righteous." The blindfold was removed. The son was standing in front of him safely, and in his place, a great ram had come for sacrifice. Allah had accepted his sacrifice. This sacrifice was not just of the body. This sacrifice was of the heart, of dreams, of emotions, and above all, of faith. Centuries have passed. But even today, every Eid al-Adha gives us the same message. A small village. A boy Ali went to the market with his mother to buy a goat. On the way, Ali innocently asked Omi, "Why do we slaughter a goat every year? Does Allah need meat?" The mother smiled and said, "No, son. Allah does not need meat or blood. He sees our intention, piety, and sincerity." Ali asked in surprise, "Then what is the meaning of sacrifice?" The mother replied, "When a person gives up his favorite thing for Allah, that is the real sacrifice." Ali remained silent for a moment. Then he said softly, "If I give my most beloved toy to a poor child, will that also be a sacrifice?" The mother's eyes got wet. She hugged Ali and said, "Yes, son, you have understood the secret of sacrifice." There was another scene in the same village. A rich man bought a very expensive goat. When the time for sacrifice came, he said to the butcher, "First make a video of me. I have to post it on Instagram, then slaughter it." The same animal, the same sacrifice, but the intention is different.
Yes.
Do we really understand the sacrifice like that of Hazrat Ibrahim? We must slaughter animals, but with it, we must also cut off the evil within us. What is sacrificed for Allah is never in loss. Hazrat Ibrahim's story teaches us that we should look into our hearts and ask ourselves, what exactly are we sacrificing? Are we ready to give up our bad habits for Allah? Are we ready to part ways with our anger, our arrogance, our hatred, our jealousy, and our greed? There are some people who cannot control their temper. They keep on fighting with others, with their family, their neighbors, their colleagues. If they were to sacrifice their anger for Allah, if they were to calm down, smile more, and live with tolerance, that would be a greater sacrifice than giving up an animal for Qurbani. Similarly, there are those who are proud and arrogant. They consider themselves superior to others. If they were to sacrifice their ego, if they were to lower their heads before Allah and bow down before others, that would be a greater sacrifice than giving up an animal for Qurbani. There are many people who hate others. Sometimes this hatred comes out openly in the form of fights, and sometimes it remains hidden in the form of bad feelings. If they were to sacrifice their hatred and spread the message of love, if they were to forgive and forget, that would be a greater sacrifice than giving up an animal for Qurbani. Similarly, there are some people who are extremely greedy. They always want more and more. If they were to sacrifice their greed, if they were to be satisfied with what Allah has given them, that would be a greater sacrifice than giving up an animal for Qurbani. And finally, there are those who backbite and gossip about others. If they were to sacrifice their bad character and start speaking good words, if they were to fill their mouths with remembrance of Allah, that would be a greater sacrifice than giving up an animal for Qurbani. Thus, Hazrat Ibrahim showed us that the real sacrifice is not just about giving up something for Allah. It is about improving our bad qualities, about removing our bad habits, and about bringing goodness into our lives. It is about sacrificing our negative qualities and replacing them with positive ones. My brothers and sisters, let us take this opportunity of Eid al-Adha to reflect on our own sacrifices. Let us look into our hearts and ask ourselves, what exactly are we sacrificing? Are we ready to give up our bad habits for Allah? Are we ready to part ways with our anger, our arrogance, our hatred, our jealousy, and our greed? If we are serious about our sacrifices, if we are sincere in our intentions, Allah will accept our sacrifices, just as He accepted the sacrifice of Hazrat Ibrahim. May Allah grant us the ability to sacrifice our bad qualities and bring goodness into our lives. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you love this story, do me a solid and smash that like button, share it with your friends, and hit subscribe. It really means a lot to me.